Welcome back to Canaries Walk. 20 minutes of Norwich chat. And this week we're looking at the FA Cup game against Brighton. But actually, does anyone care? It's gone. The one question we have to ask our team is, why are we rotating? Why are Norwich City handing this game to its side, which they could have had a better go at? Also, we're talking about December Player of the Month. AI is predicting Norwich City's home games and how many points they'll get from it. Does this team agree with what the robots say? And we're having a bit of fun this January. We're asking, because it's such a rubbish month, who's the worst possible goalkeeper that we could put into an all-star rubbish 11, Norwich City's worst championship side? We've got the full team back with us. Killian, Matty, Owen and Jacob, fresh back, of course, from watching their side get knocked out of the FA Cup against Brighton. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Owen, let's start with you, if that's all right. Why did he rotate?
We've got some tough fixtures coming up. We've got Leeds and Sheffield United both away.
Rubbish.
I don't think that we can really put too much into the cup. We've still got promotion in our hopes. It might seem a bit distant, but I think that's what he's just going for.
I don't get it. As a neutral, I think I'm allowed to have a bit of a pop here. Matt Hudson says it was absolutely shocking. FA Cup is something we should be challenging in. Rotated the squad to no use whatsoever. We should have gone with the full strength squad to give us fans something and try and progress instead of the ineptitude shown today. Killian, is he right, or do you not care either?
To be honest with you, it didn't make a big difference to me. I think the big worry for me is how far off the pace we are against the Premiership side. Like Brighton are not, they're a decent side, but they're not top of the league. We had the same in the Carabao Cup. So that to me is a big worry, the gap. And I don't care. I don't think it would have made much difference who we played. I think we were getting beaten. And that's a bit of a worry. As much as I think I'd like us to go up, we're a long way off that quality, and that wasn't, say, Brighton's first team.
Cheers, Killian. Matty, where do you stand on this? Lots of fans are saying, doesn't matter. Other fans are saying, don't disrespect it that much, the cup. We still wanted to go through.
I would have liked a cup run. I don't think we have the squad depth for a cup run. I think I understand why he rotated, and I don't think we'll get playoffs. But if we give playoffs a good run, I think the fans, when it gets to March and April, and we're in with a shout of the playoffs, and it's all hypotheticals, I appreciate, but we'll be kind of thinking, we weren't that bothered about the cup. If he starts Angus Gunn yesterday and he picks up a knock and he's out for 4, 5, 6 weeks, if he starts Sargent or a couple of other sort of first-team players who Sargent's just back from an injury, he would have been crucified if we'd had picked up knocks. And I know we did pick up knocks with the players that he did play in terms of Nunez and Forson. So he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. I understand why he rotated. And I think if we had a bit better squad depth, then I would have been more gutted that we didn't have a cup run. But for now, I just think get this season out of the way and where possible, concentrate on the league, I think.
Okay. Jacob, you could have played Chelsea at home, though. That'd have been something to get everyone in the city excited about, wasn't it? One of the big six coming to Carrow Road.
Yeah, it will definitely attract a lot of people to come watch us play against a Europa Conference League side. But realistically, with the lineup that Brighton put out, we were never going to win. They started Rutter, and they did put out their second choice goalie, but so did we. And there was never really a chance for us to go through in the next round, as we would have got beaten by Chelsea anyway. So cup run was well off the charts, but yeah.
All right, I'm not pushing any of you, am I? Say I shall give it up. Let's have a look at a few more takes on the game, though. Owen, Josh says, agreeing what Killian says, shows how far off the Premier League we are. Only Nunez looked Premier level there. Kai says, shoot George Long into the sun. And Brian says, we didn't really exit the cup. We actually poured petrol over ourselves, lit it, and then threw ourselves down the stairs. Just on all those points there, Owen, okay. George Long, comment?
He wasn't great again. He made a couple saves at the start, to be fair. First 20 or so minutes, he made a couple reflex saves, pushed some wide, and he looked okay. But once the first one was in, that was over for him. everything that was on target just hit the back of the net.
Okay. I'm glad I timed that well, so we don't have to go to Matty for that one. Killian, did anybody impress at all?
I think Dublin did okay. We got 90 minutes in. We hadn't seen much of him, so I think he's certainly one to watch. Forsum started pretty well. I really thought he was going to score again, and from a very similar position. Obviously, the knock he took sort of knocked him out a little bit. But no, it wasn't a great performance, and the team didn't seem up for it much.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll leave the FA Cup there for another season. Then, well, I've helped you to learn. I'm sure that Sheffield United also exited playing their kids, so they rested their big six ahead of this weekend's game. Matty, let's preview that now, if that's okay with you. Let's have a look at last time you met. You gave him a good game, didn't you, at Carrow Road back in August? But looking at that Norwich team that turned out that day, I think Sargent scored, didn't he, in the first half, and Arblaster buried one in. What's the major differences between that Norwich side that rocked up in August and the one that you've been watching predominantly over Christmas?
The obvious is the lack of Sargent, and what do I know? But I don't think he'll start at the weekend. He's not. I think it would be a risk. I think it would be a huge risk, and I think also Cernach. I don't think he's been too bad. He's got a few goals now. I would start Cernach through the middle and bring Sargent off if we need him for the last 20 or 30. So that's the biggest thing. I think McLean has he's come back from the two suspensions, but his most recent one, I don't know. He's just not quite been. He's looked a little bit off the pace. And then the other really obvious absentee is going to be Sainz because of the ban, which I've seen the incident a couple of times, and I haven't seen what he does, but whatever. Obviously, he's been found guilty of it, and he should be banned, rightly so, for such a terrible act. But it's going to be a tricky one, isn't it?
Just on that, Matty, do you think that means that there's a silver lining to that there might not be any bids coming in for him, given obviously he's missing now six games and won't be in the spotlight as much?
Yeah, there is that, and he's obviously had he had a real purple patch, and now he's had whatever the opposite of a purple patch is. I don't know, but he's had a tough December. No goals in December, and he kind of just dipped. He's human, isn't he? He's going to have good spells, he's going to have bad spells, and he's still a young player. So that and the fact that he's now not going to be playing kind of helps us a little bit. It wouldn't surprise me if there's still clubs interested in putting bids in, and we'll have to do our best to keep hold of him. Okay.
How'd you go about beating the Blades then, Jacob?
I don't think we'll get a result, really. Maybe a draw at best, but they are good at home, so it won't be easy, and we're bad away. Even though we did beat Luton, a team that was in the Prem last season, there is that belief. But I genuinely think deep down we are going to get a draw, purely because I think we can pull something off.
Okay. All right, then let's ask you, before we move on to looking at your home games to come, let's look back at December briefly, if that's all right, and see if you can pick out a player of the month for us. We do this every single month. We haven't done it for December yet. Owen, who was your standout one, ignoring the official club's choice and so on? Who would you have personally have picked?
It's tough to think back. It seems so far away, December, but I think Krzeni played pretty solid over the Christmas period. So I'd put him up there. Maybe not the top, but certainly up there for me.
Okay. Killian?
For me, obviously, aside from the player who did win it, I would say Duffy. I think he was being very solid right throughout December.
We've shouted that out on here, haven't we, as well? Thank you, Killian. Matty?
Put myself on mute. It's got to be Shane Duffy. It's got to be Shane Duffy for me. He's superb against Luton. Just a real rock, just a real sort of nitty-gritty, old-fashioned few displays. And anytime a team in the Championship keeps a clean sheet with the amount of goals that we've sunk this season, I think the defence and the goalkeeper deserves praise. So Shane Duffy for me.
Okay, Jacob.
I'll say Oscar Schwartau. I think he looked really good in December, especially against Millwall. he does good runs in, created lots of chances and even scored. So I'm going to go Oscar Charter. I'll hopefully see a lot more from him come next month, maybe.
Brilliant. All good shouts, and let us know in the comments below if you agree and if we've missed any. This week we've asked AI to look at your home games to come and predict the number of points that you're going to gain from them. Let's have a look at them first of all, shall we, and see what was said. First off, you're running for the next couple of months anyway, Owen. Doesn't look too bad. If you look at the league positions there in brackets, you don't actually play anyone in the top 6 now until you get to the end of March. So at home, this could be a good run, couldn't it? Swansea, Derby, Preston, Stoke, Oxford, Sheffield Wednesday, and then Portsmouth and Cardiff to finish. So you could get Sargent back firing and Sainz back for the Preston game, I'm guessing, something like that. This doesn't look too bad on paper, does it?
No, it looks like a good run. Maybe pick up some wins. Hopefully win most of them. I'd like to think that we would. But yeah, up until West Brom, maybe Sheff Wednesday, none of the fixtures seem that difficult.
Yeah. Killian, AI suggests that you're going to go undefeated in all of those games, and you'll only you'll draw against Preston, draw against West Brom, draw against Middlesbrough. Draw against Middlesbrough is going to be. I'm sure Middlesbrough's not. And you'll come out with 27 points out of the possible 10. You'd take that, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Happily take it. I don't know about that when Sainz will be back. I think there's a risk, obviously, depending on Tuesday night, Leyton Orient and Derby. That Derby match could be postponed. So, but could end up being a midweek match. But I do think, I think we should be able to. As you said, Sunderland's probably the only real tough one we have there.
Yeah, Matty, it's a favourable home running, isn't it? You've played all the big ones at home already, haven't you?
Yeah, and this is the thing, we looked okay against Leeds. You just referenced the Sheffield United game at home, and I thought we could have snatched it in that home game against them a few months back, and I wasn't overly impressed. They've then obviously gone on and kicked on and been fairly consistent in the top 3, haven't they? So we've had some difficult ones. Middlesbrough at home was difficult, not on the 26th. That's the away fixture, but we've had a tough start at home, and I reckon, 27's a bit punchy, isn't it? But if we can go undefeated, which is no reason why I don't see why we can't. If we can say about winning at home and not losing away, I'd take that for the next few months for sure.
Brilliant. Okay, thanks for that. Finally, then this week, we're starting a month-long trawl, and by the end of it, we're going to create the worst Norwich 11 that has ever played in the Championship across 20 years of its existence. We're doing this because January's a rubbish month, so to honour how bad it is, we're putting together not the best side we've ever seen, but the one that would stink the house out if they ever played together. Next week we'll do strikers, so get your thinking caps on here. We're going to play a 4-4 flat 4-4-2, and today we're going to appoint our goalie. So, who's the worst goalkeeper? I'm not sure we'll let Matty answer this one. Who's the worst goalkeeper that we've seen in a Norwich shirt in 20 odd years or so, up and down in different leagues? Jacob, kick this off.
There's probably a lot of bad ones out there, but I'm just going to go for the very obvious one. George Long doesn't look good on the ball, horrible distribution. So yeah, George Long.
Poor George. Every week he gets it on this channel. Owen?
It's a double. It's George Long.
Killian?
Yeah, I can't disagree with that, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Matty, save this.
Michael Theokhalitis was absolutely appalling. 7-1, we got beat by Colchester on the opening day of the season in League One. He looked like he'd won a raffle to be there. And I once heard a story of someone, I can't remember which country it was, but someone found a random, I don't know if it was match worn, but some of his replica kit in a bargain bin, in like a charity shop somewhere, very, very rogue. Thrown in with much disdain, I imagine. So George Long probably just about gets it, but just because to change my tune and not slag him off constantly, I'll throw Theokhalitis in there, and then I'm tossing a coin between one of them two, I think.
Okay. Let us know in the comments below if you can think of any others that the team has missed. Right. And next week, we're looking for two strikers that have disgraced the name of Norwich City. So get your thinking caps on for that, and we'll come back in 7 days' time to get that. Right. You lot enjoy your trip to Bramall Lane. Killian, are you making this trip?
I certainly am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Look after your back, won't you? I know you've had a rough time of it. Matt, are you doing this one?
I'm indeed, yes. Get to train up, see a few familiar faces after a couple of weeks without seeing them. So, looking forward to it. Well, everything before and after the football, at least, anyway.
Brilliant. Okay, and Owen and Jacob will be there to will be watching somehow, won't you, to help us with our review next week. So thank all four of you. Thank you very much for watching. Drop us a subscribe if you haven't yet done so already. We are so thankful that you are willing to watch a different Norwich City podcast like the rest of the world does. Watch that one as well. It's a very good one, but we'd love you to drop your subscribe. Our target is to get to 100 subscribers, certainly by the end of this month, and you can help us do that by pressing the subscribe button right now. Thank you, you guys. Enjoy the week. Enjoy the 7 days. We'll see you on the other side of Sheffield United.